Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre, and today I want to talk about the cost of carrying resentment. Resentment is, I think, what most people think about as baggage. I prefer the expression that my friends in AA use, which is that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that the person you're mad at dies. I love the expression because it underscores how carrying past pain and anger not only limits us in our perspective, our behavior, it causes us further harm because too often what we're holding on to is actually very toxic. In 12 step programs, working through step 4 and 5 is likely to unearth a lot of past pain, a lot of past anger. And there's an opportunity for us to look at what was our part in those behaviors, in those relationships, and ideally to make some changes going forward. When folks approach step 4, I always want to encourage them to have really great supports in their life because when we're kind of digging through those past skeletons in the closet, it can be really daunting. It can be a lot to deal with in terms of the emotional toll and also coming to terms with things from our past and people in our present. So when I think about working through resentment, I know that for a lot of folks in recovery, we get caught up in how a lot of our resentment is tied to past trauma, past abuse, past neglect. And it saddens me. I've watched a lot of folks struggle when they're told to look for their part in their step work. But what we're looking at is childhood abuse. So, by definition, a child never has any part in their abuse. That's just cut and dry. In the same vein, people who are experience sexual assault, people who experience forms of abuse, perhaps there is some opportunities to look at patterns in our life. Perhaps there's opportunities to gain some skills. But condemning yourself or judging yourself, viewing it as something that you allowed into your life, I think is largely unhealthy. I think it's better for us, even though it's more difficult, to acknowledge that we've survived past trauma and moving forward, we want to have a healthier perspective. We want to have dignity. We want to be healthier as we go. So, letting go is not a one time event. Letting go of past resentment requires mindfulness. It requires that we withhold judgment of ourselves. It requires expression, release, and ultimately forgiveness. But I think too often we think of forgiveness as something kind that we do for the people that harmed us. And the way I see it, you can forgive someone and not even involve them, not even tell them. I've had to do that with a lot of people and from my past that were toxic or otherwise abusive. And I did it not for their benefit, but for mine. It wasn't it wasn't the case that I said that what they did was okay or that it didn't matter. It mattered a great deal. It hurt me a great deal. And I wasn't willing to continue, first of all, treating myself the way they did. And I wasn't willing to continue carrying that pain and anger into the future. So I found a great deal more freedom. The less and less baggage I carried, the more I was free to be myself. And I also found that the more I worked through old resentment, the less I tended to take on new resentments in the present. When folks are wanting to be free of resentment, or maybe they're working step 4 in a 12 step program, I always encourage them to read step 10 the way AA lays it out in the 12 steps and 12 traditions. There's a lot of discussion about the emotional hangover and how to avoid it, ensuring that we are dealing with things reasonably as they happen in the here and now. And that will free us from developing new resentments. So, a few things to consider and maybe read up on. I hope that you'll make the investment of looking into what is it that you still carry and see a benefit to releasing that. I hope that you have people in your life that are open to processing with you and helping you to grieve. And if you don't have folks like that, then please reach out. I would love to hear from you. I'd be happy to help you get pointed in the right direction. Jim at sobernow.com. Please, if you would, give a like to this video and check out our YouTube station, which is also Sober Now. Give that a subscription. Click on the bell ringer and you'll get a notification every time we post a new video, which is about once a week. Check out that YouTube station because there's currently over 80 videos there on different themes about recovery and mental health. Please email me, let me know what topics you'd like to see discussed in the future or what questions you have. Again, Jim@sobernow.com. Please check out our site, sobernow.com. One-time purchase can get you lifetime access into what is growing and developing as a wonderful resource, not just for early recovery, but for long-term recovery as well. Please take excellent care of yourselves, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.